Whenever you get into, I think the conversation, especially in physical freedom, because it's essentially what I'm talking about when I talk about that for what is functional aerobics for people, you're always going to have a contention between people's individual freedoms and liberties. And right next to that is a conversation on responsibility. And I think within the responsibility conversation, that's where we may land on, well, what you have to do. Have to do to what, right? Because if it's have to do to be sustainable, I would argue you wouldn't want to go down the data scientific route. Mm-hmm. Like my point is in 2024, I just think that it's going to take another, so yeah, just don't do it. You're going to get exhausted and you're going to get stuck in the corner with a bunch of scientists that are going to say, no, this way is better. You'll end up on a stage arguing as a radical against Peter Attia and Rich Roll and Huberman, right? Mm-hmm. And they'll just be throwing reams of data at you, proving you incorrect. But on your side, you're like, yeah, but I'm not even talking about the performance or therapeutic paradigm. I'm talking about vitality, i.e. what is best for people long term. So I think the tension you're going to get into with the should thing is personal freedoms and liberties. Yeah. And that's why I think it's going to keep escalating down in number as effect size over time to be a very small amount of people. Because those people will choose to because they know. So that's my point. I would agree with you too in the way you put together what should happen in what order. Yeah, within that knowledge area, by all means, you're going to have a discussion on, the evolutionary mismatch. This is what we're presented with, along with, well, these are patterns and this is pacing and here's the options you have in front of you, right? But just moving it a little bit more further along to the should area, I don't know. I don't know if that'll be effective long term. Yeah. What I mean by that is effective in the conversation.
Yeah.
Because
I know what you mean when you're saying you're on a stage with a bunch of people and they're throwing a bunch of data at you and you're just like, well, you should do it. And it's like, well, why should you do it? Right. And that's where I come back to
And they got you on the why though.
Yeah.
That's the thing, right? Because they'll be like, but this high intensity interval protocol from research 2006 showed this.
Yeah.
And don't you agree that mitochondrial biogenesis Well, that's what people should do. Do you see that? Like you'll get stuck in this without saying, listen, I'm not going to get into a therapeutic or performance conversation.
Yeah.
Because you're talking about that. I want to talk about how to live long and large. What you described as potential, which is fitness, right? Physical potential for your whole life, the whole thing. Not 5 years when you're 30 and you've discovered CrossFit till 35. No, the big thing.
Hey guys, just want to say thank you for watching the video and take a second to talk to you about our app, CoachRx. So we built CoachRx to bridge the gap for coaches. And what do I mean by bridge the gap? So we're looking at a couple areas in which we're trying to solve for coaches on a daily basis. Number one being communication. We want you to be able to communicate with your clients more effectively and be able to connect them to what you're designing in program and lifestyles and nutrition coaching. Number two, we want to bridge the gap and we want to allow you to create more effective and efficient lifestyle, nutrition, and exercise programs. And number three, we want to bridge the gap and we want this platform to be truly all-in-one, something that you can build your business in, run payments, understand impact metrics, the whole nine. But I want to go back to that concept of all-in-one. So all-in-one is never truly done, but that is our North Star. So we're always working to make our app all-in-one. So we will constantly innovate, we will constantly integrate, and we will constantly update to ensure that we're just getting closer and closer to that all-in-one. So I can promise one thing as well. When you get in CoachRx today, you will experience the worst version of CoachRx because we are constantly improving and making this thing better. So don't take my word for it. Go in and start your risk-free 14-day trial and let us know what you think.
So let's move it into the functional aerobics conversation. I think we're always going to be stuck with providing ideas on what people should do because of the liberty freedom thing, not because we can't come up with some fascinating methods.
You know what this reminds me of?
Because it's true that if you just say, well, just walk. I mean, we've been saying this, walking is fantastic. And the fact that people balk at that and don't want to just be like, oh, thanks.
Cruz was walking up the stairs and you said, walk.
Oh.
And it was like, and he looked, he's like, does that mean we're going for a walk? It's like, not right now, buddy. But no, sorry to cut you off, but
no,
yeah, I get what you're saying.
Like, the fact that people want something more just shows the cultural milieu. Like, it just shows what our expectations and standards and ideas now of fitness are.
Yeah.
It's got to be flashy. It's got to be performance. It's got to be fixing all these broken lives of people that choose not to do anything.
What are your thoughts when I said natural law? Like, what were your thoughts when I said that? Because this reminds me a lot of the, we won't go down this route, but it reminds me a lot of the morality conversation, right?
It does, yeah. Because it ties into resisting entropy, in my opinion, right? Less around the existential conversation of physical laws, right? And where they came from, right? I would agree with you, it's an origin conversation, right? Creation, design, necessary byproduct of chemical things, chance, whatever. That's there.
There's just something where you're just like, oh, I just feel like we should be doing this, right? Like, where I feel like I should not be doing that.
Yeah, I don't think the morality thing comes inside of those natural laws areas. To answer your question, what I think about when you say it is our truest connection to nature and what we observe as being laws of how we live in nature. That's what I consider those natural laws. Getting burnt by the sun, dehydration, slipping on a rock and breaking your ankle when you're 50 miles from the nearest place and dying out there. Those are
a bead of sweat coming out of our body.
Yes.
And we're like, why does this happen?
That's an occurrence, thermoregulation, reaction to the environment, etc. But that's a natural connection right there. So that's what I think about. And I'm biased, of course, of physicality and nature as being that connection to it. Others may speak of it in physics terms or existential terms.
Hey guys, thanks a lot for being here and watching the video. And since you're here, I'm going to assume that you're looking to improve your knowledge, improve your coaching acumen, or let's call it improve your coaching wisdom. And we have a platform that is built to do exactly that. So we built this platform called LearnRx because we saw a massive hole in the fitness education market. We saw a lot of high barrier education that was inconsistent and that was updated every decade. So we saw that hole and wanted to fill it with high quality, broad fitness education. And by broad, I just mean from a topic standpoint, whether you want to improve your knowledge in program design, nutrition coaching, lifestyle, building relationships, or business acumen, we have you covered in LearnRx. So to learn more, head over to opexfit.com/LearnRx.